Today's topic is a vegan diet really better for the planet? Climate change, loss of biodiversity, and water scarcity, many of the global environmental challenges we face today are deeply connected to one simple daily choice: what we eat. Among the many food trends gaining attention, one lifestyle stands out: veganism. By eliminating all animal products, vegan diets are praised not just for animal welfare, but also for their potential to reduce environmental harm. Why is veganism said to be better for the planet? Because the livestock industry produces a significant share of global greenhouse gas emissions and requires massive amounts of water and land for grazing and feed production. A plant-based diet, in contrast, may dramatically reduce these resource demands. However, some argue, does going 100% plant-based really solve everything? In recent years, a new movement called regenerative agriculture has emerged, an approach where grazing animals like cows or sheep are used to restore soil health, capture carbon, and even help heal the environment. In other words, we now face two competing visions: one that says we protect the planet by cutting out meat, and another that says we can protect it by raising meat the right way. So the big question is, what kind of eating is truly better for the earth? In today's debate, two teams, Team Vegan and Team Meat, will go head-to-head across 4 intense rounds, discussing environmental impact, water use, land efficiency, and even ethical considerations. I'm Isaac, a tech-minded analyst with a passion for logic and the future. It's an honor to moderate this debate on such a critical topic, because today, food isn't just about personal health, it's about the fate of the planet. My goal is to guide this discussion with facts, reason, and respect for diverse perspectives, so that together we can explore what a truly sustainable food future might look like. Now then, let's meet the teams. Let's begin by introducing the 3 members of Team Vegan, who believe that a plant-based diet is the most sustainable way to care for our planet.
Hi, I'm Sophia. I've been living a vegan lifestyle for years. Choosing not to take life and instead live in harmony with nature is, to me, a step toward a more ethical and sustainable future. I believe we can create a kinder world for the earth, for animals, and for ourselves.
I'm Linda. As a nutritionist, I want to share the science behind how a plant-based diet can support both human health and planetary health. I don't see the future of food as one of restriction, but of optimization for our bodies and for the environment.
Hey, I'm Hippie Jack. I'm all about organic living and peaceful vibes. For me, veganism is a way to show love to the earth. It's not just about food, it's about living in harmony. I want to spread the message of a more lovable, natural way to eat.
Thank you. From ethics and nutrition to deep connection with nature, this team brings powerful perspectives on why veganism may be the path toward a more sustainable world. Next up is Team Meat, who argue that eating meat isn't destroying the environment. It might actually help regenerate it.
I'm Frank. For me, meat isn't just about taste or tradition. It's fuel for performance. From the lens of regenerative agriculture, grazing animals can help sequester carbon and restore soil health. The way we raise and eat meat matters. I'm here to make the logical case that meat can be part of the solution.
I'm Dr. No. I don't speak from ideology, I speak from data. The idea that all animal products are inherently bad is far too simplistic. Science is more nuanced. Take LCA, Life Cycle Assessment, for example. It evaluates the environmental impact of food across its entire lifespan, from production to consumption and waste. It's not just about how much greenhouse gas meat produces, it's about how it's raised and consumed. Let's explore this from a rational and systems-level perspective, including regenerative and localized farming practices.
Yo, it's Tony, and today I came to challenge the vibe that meat equals evil. I live for contrarian takes. What if the right kind of meat is actually the most sustainable option out there? That's the twist I'm bringing. Debate exists to shake up what people think they know, and that's exactly what I'm here to do.
Thank you, a trio powered by science, practical insight, and disruption. This team is ready to make their case for how meat might just contribute to a greener future. Now it's time to meet our three judges. They'll be observing today's debate and ultimately deciding which side made the more compelling case. Each judge brings a different worldview and set of values, and will evaluate the arguments through their own unique lens.
I'm Grace. Over the course of my long life, I've seen many ways of eating and many ways of living. When it comes to this topic, I believe the key lies in responsibility to the future and mindful choices. I want to honor the balance between humanity and nature.
Yo, I'm Ryan. For me, it's all about trends and what resonates. I'm interested in what kinds of food people are actually supporting in real life, online and off. I'll be paying close attention to which side fits today's lifestyle and cultural vibe.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I live by the idea of a simple, low-waste lifestyle. In this debate, I'll be focusing on which dietary approach is more practical and better suited for everyday living, something that truly fits naturally into people's routines.
Three thoughtful judges, each watching with care from a different angle. Across 4 rounds, they'll decide which side offers the most sustainable path forward for the planet. Now then, let the debate begin. Round 1's theme is, which diet leads to lower greenhouse gas emissions? Greenhouse gases, like CO2 and methane, are a major driver of climate change. While energy production is a well-known source, food systems, especially livestock farming, also contribute significantly. These gases trap heat in the atmosphere, leading to rising global temperatures. The consequences: more extreme weather, droughts, floods, and the collapse of ecosystems, all directly affecting our lives and the future of the planet. But does that mean we should eliminate livestock entirely? Let's begin with the vegan team's perspective.
One thing we need to acknowledge is that around 14% of global greenhouse gas emissions come from the livestock industry, and among those, methane released from cows during digestion, mainly through belching, is particularly problematic. Methane is over 25 times more potent than CO2 in terms of its warming effect. This process, called rumination, involves cows chewing, swallowing, and re-chewing plant material. Inside their digestive system, microbes ferment the food, generating large amounts of methane. So yes, our food choices literally shape the climate. By avoiding animal products entirely, a vegan lifestyle offers one of the most direct ways to cut greenhouse gas emissions.
Sure, livestock produces emissions, but not all livestock farming is the same. There's a rising interest in regenerative agriculture, where animals are rotationally grazed to help restore soil health. As animals graze and fertilize the land, they stimulate microbial activity that allows soil to capture and store more carbon, potentially pulling CO2 out of the atmosphere. So no, meat equals environmental destruction is way too simplistic. How we raise animals matters far more. And don't forget, livestock manure is a major source of compost, a natural fertilizer critical for growing fruits and vegetables. Without it, we'd have to lean even more heavily on synthetic fertilizers, which come with their own environmental costs. So rather than saying just stop eating meat, I think we need to focus on choosing better meat that helps heal the planet.
As a nutritionist, I care about the health of both people and the planet. Like Sophia said, switching to a plant-based diet can reduce an individual's carbon footprint by up to 70%, according to research. Regenerative farming is promising, but only a tiny fraction of livestock operations are using that model today. If we want solutions that are immediately accessible and impactful, I believe vegan diets are a far more scalable option right now.
Yo, hold up. You're saying veganism is better for the environment. But where's the data from? Which country? Let's talk avocados and quinoa. Popular vegan staples that are often shipped from halfway around the world. Air freight, cargo ships, those emissions stack up fast. And vegan processed foods, they're often made in energy-intensive factories. So this idea that animal equals bad and plant equals good, yeah, I don't buy it. That's way too black and white.
Okay. Tony makes a fair point, but here's my take. Do we really need to eat meat every day? Clearing forests to raise cattle is hurting the planet, and we all know it. But veganism doesn't have to mean go 100% or go home. It can be about finding balance, eating less meat, choosing more sustainable options. To me, it's not about perfection. It's about kindness and imagination in how we eat.
Let's bring this back to data. What we need here is a life cycle assessment approach, looking at the total environmental cost from production to transportation to consumption to waste. From that view, beef consistently ranks among the most resource-intensive foods. However, there is emerging evidence that some regenerative systems may absorb more carbon than they emit. In short, conventional animal farming is clearly problematic, but forward-thinking, regenerative models could offer solutions. This debate needs depth, not dogma.
Thank you, everyone. The vegan team highlighted the immediate, clear climate impact of cutting animal products. The meat team argued for nuance, introducing concepts like carbon sequestering soil and the value of regenerative practices. So, which vision for food and the climate makes more sense to you? Let us know in the comments. Now, let's move on to round 2. The theme of round 2 is which diet uses water and land more efficiently? Food production consumes 2 of Earth's most limited resources, water and land. Livestock farming, in particular, requires not only vast amounts of water to raise animals, but also large areas of land to grow their feed. Plant-based diets, on the other hand, are often said to be less demanding on these resources, but not all plant-based foods are inherently eco-friendly. Let's begin with the vegan team.
One metric I focus on is how much water it takes to produce 1 kilogram of food. For example, beef requires about 15,000 liters of water per kilogram, while beans need around 4,000 liters, and vegetables require even less. That means we can get the same amount of calories or protein while using significantly less water with plant-based foods. And in a time of increasing drought due to climate change, conserving water is literally a matter of saving lives.
When we talk about water and land use, we need to look not just at quantity, but also quality. For instance, pasture-based grazing can rely solely on rainfall, while growing crops like almonds often requires irrigation, where water is artificially drawn from rivers or underground sources. This is especially problematic in drought-prone areas where water scarcity is already severe. Similarly, when it comes to land, grazing land often consists of areas unsuitable for growing crops, unlike cornfields which humans can use directly. So, before labeling animal farming as wasteful, we must ask, who is growing what, where, and how?
I hear what Dr. No is saying, but let's look at the big picture. About 80% of all agricultural land on Earth is used for grazing or to grow animal feed, and yet those lands only provide about 18% of the calories humans consume. In other words, we're using enormous amounts of land and water to produce a relatively small amount of meat and dairy. If we repurposed even some of that land for growing crops humans can eat directly, we could feed a lot more people. So, yes, plant-based diets aren't just about the environment. They're about a more equitable and efficient use of our planet's resources.
You can't just look at the numbers and call it inefficient. Humans can't eat grass, but cows can. Without cows, that land wouldn't be usable at all. So meat is like a converter, turning non-edible land into nutritious food. And in regenerative grazing systems, animals actually improve soil health and water retention. To say only plants are sustainable is way too narrow-minded, if you ask me.
Water and land are sacred parts of Earth's life cycle. So instead of asking which is right, maybe we should ask which causes less harm to nature. Take large-scale monoculture farms that use tons of water to grow one crop. Now, compare that to small, diverse farms working in harmony with natural rhythms. That's the kind of farming I want to support. And when we ask questions like, where did my food come from? Or who grew it? we naturally make choices that are gentler on the planet and the people who live on it.
Okay. Great points, everyone. But let's not forget, avocados and almonds, which are common in vegan diets, use massive amounts of water, especially in places like California, where water is already scarce. And if those foods are being imported by ship or plane, that's extra carbon emissions. So yeah, you're not just using land, you're using airspace too. Bottom line, veganism is not zero impact. Let's be honest about that.
Thank you all. The vegan team emphasized the efficiency of plant-based foods in using Earth's resources wisely. The meat team highlighted land quality and how regenerative farming can work in harmony with nature. Which side do you resonate with more? Let us know in the comments. Let's move forward to round 3. The theme for round 3 is which diet is more suitable for educating children about food? Food education isn't just about teaching nutrition. It's a way for children to learn about health, the environment, and culture through everyday meals. In schools and at home, there's a growing focus on teaching kids about sustainable eating. So which has a better impact on young minds, a vegan diet or a meat-inclusive one? Let's hear from the vegan team first.
I've worked with food education programs in elementary schools. One thing I've learned is that understanding where food comes from helps children build stronger life skills. By introducing the vegan perspective, kids naturally start thinking about questions like, what does it mean to take a life for food? How is what we eat connected to the environment? Yes, nutritional balance is important, especially for growing children. But today we have beans, nuts, seaweed, and so many plant-based sources to meet those needs. Rather than pushing or banning diets, I believe we should offer veganism as one valid option worth learning about.
You know what matters in education? Facing reality. We eat meat and eggs because animals give their lives. That's the truth. Telling kids that's wrong is missing the point. Meat and fish provide essential nutrients, iron, B12, amino acids, that kids need to grow. Iron deficiency in particular can affect focus and development. So instead of saying don't eat this, let's teach them how was this food raised. That's what real food education should be.
To me, food education is about cultivating empathy and connection. Asking questions like, who made this? Or how did it get here? Helps children understand the world in a deeper way. Choosing a vegan lifestyle can be an opportunity to teach compassion for animals and care for the planet. It doesn't have to be perfect. What matters is helping kids become sensitive to suffering, and I believe that's the heart of food education.
Again, the key here is data over emotion. Children on strict vegan diets often need supplements for nutrients like vitamin B12, iron, and DHA, a fatty acid critical for brain development. These nutrients are essential for growing bodies and minds and cannot be overlooked. At the same time, over-consuming meat or relying on ultra-processed foods increases the risk of obesity and diabetes. So neither 100% vegan nor just eat more meat is the answer. What we need is a scientifically balanced food education to support children's health and growth.
Hey, picture this. A kid planting a tiny seed and then seeing it sprout. That kind of hands-on joy sticks way longer than any video. Whether it's vegan or not, I think feeling the life in food is the real starting point for food education. Meat, vegetables, it all comes from life. Kids who grow up understanding that will grow up making kinder choices for the future.
Let's be real. Most kids hate green peppers. Will they actually want to eat a plate full of vegetables just because it's vegan? That's the real test. Also, food education is shaped by family values and lifestyle. There's no one right way. Whether vegan or not, what matters is exposure to diverse food cultures so kids can decide for themselves. That's what I call real freedom in food education.
Thank you all. The vegan team emphasized emotional growth, ethics, and environmental awareness. The meat team highlighted essential nutrients and the value of diverse, reality-based education. How is food education approached in your household? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Now, let's move on to round 4. The final round's theme is which diet is more environmentally friendly? So far, we've debated greenhouse gases, water, land use, and the future of our children. Now, we'll zoom out to look at the big picture, the impact on the environment as a whole, deforestation, biodiversity loss, ocean pollution, soil degradation. Environmentally friendly is not a one-dimensional metric. It's a complex balance of many interwoven factors. So, veganism, or a diet that includes meat, which truly protects the planet when we consider the whole system. Let's start with the vegan team.
We can't ignore the role of animal agriculture in deforestation. In places like the Amazon, vast forests are being cleared to make room for cattle pastures and soybean fields for animal feed. When we lose forests, we don't just lose trees, we destroy ecosystems and the lives within them. By choosing not to eat meat, I believe we are helping to protect those distant forests and the creatures who call them home.
Come on, that doesn't mean we have to stop eating meat entirely. Not all land can become forests. In many cases, grazing actually helps make use of land that would otherwise go unused. And with regenerative agriculture, grazing animals can revive soil and even help absorb carbon from the atmosphere. Not all animal farming harms the environment. Some of it can help heal it. People need to know that.
Frank's right. Livestock farming has potential, but the reality is regenerative agriculture is still rare. Most of what we see today is industrial livestock farming. That means raising animals in crowded facilities, using antibiotics to prevent disease, and feeding them large amounts of grain and soy. This approach contributes to water pollution, greenhouse gas emissions, deforestation, and poor animal welfare. In contrast, plant-based foods produce more with fewer resources and are less likely to harm the environment. If we're looking for a starting point that's best for the planet, I believe plant-based diets are the best baseline.
Okay, but environmentally friendly depends on how deep you dig, right? How much water does almond milk use? What kind of plastic is it packaged in? What factory processed it? There's even a term for this, greenwashing. Some products look eco-friendly, but aren't. They just slap on natural colors and buzzwords. That's why I can't get behind the whole plant equals good narrative. We need to look beyond the label and dig into the details.
I hear you, Tony, but for me, it's all about living as close to nature as possible. Growing your own vegetables, buying eggs from a local farm, trying not to create waste. That's not just taking from the earth, that's also about giving back. To me, being eco-friendly means asking, am I borrowing from the planet without giving back? Even small actions, if done with care, can gently change the future.
To truly assess what's eco-friendly, we need a full life cycle analysis, from resource extraction to processing, transport, consumption, and disposal. Looking at it from that angle, industrial livestock causes serious damage. Greenhouse gas emissions, water use, land degradation, and overuse of antibiotics. Yes, regenerative agriculture shows promise, but the key point is this: we can't keep consuming meat at the current pace. It's simply unsustainable.
Thank you. In this final round, we heard broad perspectives on environmental impact. The vegan team emphasized deforestation, ecosystems, and pollution. The meat team focused on regenerative agriculture and coexistence with nature. So which approach do you believe is more sustainable for the planet? Share your thoughts in the comments. That concludes all 4 rounds of the debate. Next up, the final judgment from our panel of judges. That concludes all 4 rounds of debate. Which dietary approach is truly kinder to the planet? We've heard diverse arguments from both sides. Now, let's turn to our 3 judges for their final verdicts.
As someone who values time-honored wisdom and living simply, I found both sides had compelling points, but I was especially moved by Sophia and Linda's focus on the nature we leave behind for future generations. The idea that we can be gentler to the planet just by changing what we eat, and then pass that kindness on through our everyday meals. That really resonated with me. So my vote goes to Team Vegan.
Wow, that was a ride. On social media, vegan equals eco is already a strong narrative. But Frank and Dr. No's take on regenerative agriculture, super fresh and honestly convincing. Still, The one that hit me hardest? Hippie Jack's line, "Aren't we just borrowing from the earth without giving back?" As an influencer, that's the kind of quote I want to post everywhere. So yeah, I'm casting my vote for Team Vegan.
I appreciate efficient, waste-free systems, so this topic really spoke to me. Vegan diets are clearly resource efficient. That's true, but I also respected Dr. No's LCA perspective and Frank's point about land utilization. Both sides had valid arguments, but when it comes to what we can do right now with clear impact, I'm voting for Team Vegan.
And there you have it, a 3-0 unanimous decision for Team Vegan. What did you think? Let us know your own verdict in the comments. Did one side change your mind? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's now hear some closing thoughts from our debaters on both teams. What did they take away from today's discussion?
We often talk about being kind to the planet in abstract terms, but today's debate reminded me that what we choose to eat is a very real, tangible action. Veganism doesn't have to be perfect. What matters most is that our choices come from empathy and imagination.
I appreciated how the debate touched not only on science and environmental data, but also on education and shifting social consciousness. If veganism is going to become a future standard, the first step is simply helping more people know about it.
That was a blast. What I really want to say is, this isn't about go vegan now. It's about pausing and reflecting. To reconnect with nature, we don't need a fixed answer. We need to feel our relationship with the earth. That's where it begins.
Well, the outcome is whatever, but I said what I came to say. I'm tired of the narrative that meat equals evil. There are people raising livestock responsibly and thinking about the environment. Meat isn't going away anytime soon. So the real question is, how do we deal with it better?
Debate is about testing hypotheses through discussion. What struck me most today was the tension between emotion and logic. We can't build a sustainable future with only one. That's why I'll keep working to explain complex truths in ways people can actually understand.
Winning, losing, who cares? The best part today? All these wildly different perspectives. I hope my bit about greenwashing hit home. There's never just one right answer. Let's keep making space for more questions.
That concludes today's debate. Is a vegan diet truly better for the planet? From global warming, water use, and land management to the future of our children and the environment as a whole, we've explored how something as simple as what we eat connects deeply to the fate of our planet. If this debate sparked even a moment of reflection in you, as a moderator, I couldn't ask for more. There may be no such thing as a perfect diet, but small realizations and everyday choices, when added up, can drive meaningful change. How did today's discussion resonate with you? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And here on The Great Food Debate, we'll continue diving into the big questions at the crossroads of food, health, and the future of our planet. If you found this valuable, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next debate. Until next time, thanks for watching.